Hey folks, this is Dave Smith of Correctional Officer Lifestyle coming to you with a quick video today. Continuing a thing of things that I've seen in the Department of Corrections, things that I've been involved in the Department of Corrections. They're for a very long time. In my job, I was a correctional officer, followed by being a sergeant. 20 years worth, 13 as CO, 7 as sergeant. And I was never the captain's right-hand man, but I was who the captain called when he wanted something done. Specifically, if they had an aggressive inmate, I was the one that they called because, and I've had several captains tell me this, I have a calming influence on the inmates when I show up. I don't know if it's because I intimidate them, they're intimidated by me, if my demeanor just de-escalates something, if being 6 foot at over 400 pounds and able to run said something about me. I don't know what it was, but I had a very calming influence over the inmate population whenever I'd show up. And because of that, I got called for a lot of things. Very few times did I have to put my hands on an inmate when I showed up because of that calming influence, whatever it was. And I still to this day don't know what it was that calmed them down as soon as I showed up, but it did. And now I have a certain group of people that I call as a captain whenever I have an aggressive inmate. And I don't know if I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it wrong. If I want it de-escalated, I have a certain group of people that I call. If it's beyond the point where I think it can be de-escalated, I have another group of people that I call. That's probably bad to have that other group of people. But they're the group of people that I know aren't going to hesitate when it comes to going hands-on with an inmate and getting him under control. And that's oftentimes what is required. Yes, force is a last resort. Yes, it is to be utilized only after all reasonable non-force alternatives have been exhausted. By the time I call people, I've gone through trying to exhaust those avenues. There are some inmates where I firmly believe they can be calmed down. I firmly believe they can be talked down, and I call people to do that. There are some inmates that just won't calm down. Maybe their psych grade's a little bit too high, in which case I call the first group to attempt crisis intervention techniques to de-escalate the situation. But given those don't always work, sometimes you have to resort to the other avenue. So I've gone from being the calm influence or the hands-on person to calling them. And that is a totally different ballpark for me. Yes, in the Department of Corrections or in the profession of corrections, when you go up in rank, you're walking up a staircase backwards, because not only do you go up, but you have to step back. Okay, when you make sergeant, you got to go up to sergeant, but you got to step back and let your officers do their job. When you make lieutenant, you got to go up and step back, let your sergeants do their job. Same thing with captain. You got to go up, step back, let your sergeants do their job, because in Florida, lieutenant runs satellite units, work camps, work release centers, things like that. That's what your lieutenants are going to be running. Your captains run the main unit. I assume it's the same when you make major. You go up, but you got to step back. You got to let your lieutenants do their job. When you make colonel, you got to go up, you got to step back and let your captains do their job. I wouldn't know firsthand knowledge because I've never been a major or a colonel, but I can only assume that trend is going to continue, where you have to go up in rank and take that step back and let the people that work for you do their job. That's one of the hardest things in the world to get used to. As a 20-year correctional officer and sergeant, I was hands-on. I was in the field. I was on the floor. I was in the confinement unit. I was in the infirmary when things went sideways. I was in medical. I was on the transports. I was doing everything. Now, yeah, I'm still there. I'm still on the floor. I'm still with the inmates. Every once in a while, I still have to get my hands in the mix. Every once in a while, I still got to put that calming influence into effect. But that's when my sergeants call me and they say, hey, we can't get control of this situation. Then I step in and I'll help them. But that step back is often the hardest step to take, especially when you're used to being the one that steps up. When you're used to being the one that steps up, that step back is difficult. It's hard, but it's necessary. Folks, that's all I got for this video, okay? There will be more of these videos to come. This is all I got for this one. As always, there is no place for domestic violence in this world. If you are the victim of a domestic violence situation or you know the victim of a domestic violence situation, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7223, 7233. That is 7233. Yeah. Sorry about that. That is the domestic violence hotline. The folks at the other end of that phone call have the tools, abilities, resources, and are willing to help the victims of domestic violence. If you know the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, remember, please God, say something to someone. The worst thing you can do is nothing. And if you are the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, remember your actions have consequences, but there is help for you too. 1, admit that you need that help. 2, ask for it. It'll be provided. Folks, that's all I got for this video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications when I post new videos. And hit me with some comments, folks. Let me know what you're thinking. I do my best to get through all my comments. Sometimes I fail. Most times I don't. But hit me with some comments. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how hard that was. If you're a supervisor in corrections, let me know how hard it was for you to take that step back and let your folks work. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video.